Good morning. Welcome to our Real-Time Solutions. My name is Ed Carney. I'm Apple Valley Chamber President, and I'd like to thank our sponsors of this. This is brought to you by Apple Valley Chamber of Commerce. This is brought to you by Burnsville Chamber, Hastings Chamber, Lakeville Chamber, and River Heights Chamber, which is all of our partners. And we've been doing this since this pandemic started, and it's been just such a great hit series. Today, I might mention that we have twice as many participants as we usually have. Our goal today is to address the business concerns as we navigate this pandemic. Now, before we get started, and a few more of you get on, we have a video from our sponsor. Dakota Electric is a very strong advocate for all of our chambers of commerce and also our communities and businesses. So here's a minute video from Dakota Electric.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the Real-Time Solutions webinar series. My name is Jeffrey Rainey, Economic Development Director for Dakota Electric Association. And on behalf of Dakota Electric and our 110,000 members, we're proud to sponsor this webinar series in collaboration with our local Dakota County Chambers. We're glad that we can connect you, businesses, to this information and future resources. Reminder, all the webinars are free and you can access them via your local Chamber's website. Thank you for all you've done this year. An unreal year. You have pivoted, you have adjusted, you have recalculated, you have innovated, and you have sacrificed to keep your business running and to support the businesses around you. Thank you. Hang in there. We will continue to connect you to information and resources in 2021. On our part, Dakota Electric, we will provide you the power you need reliably and safely. And we'll see you in 2021. All the best.
Thank you, everyone. And those of you who came on late, I'm Ed Carney, Apple Valley Chamber President. And just so you know that all of our participants are muted, you can type questions into the Q&A or the chat. We'll be monitoring both. And if we have time at the end, we will ask those questions. We are recording. And also, we're just so excited today to have 4 professional comedians with us today. And laughter is the best medicine. This is meant to be a serious talk show format about humor in the workplace, but humor could break out at any time and anywhere, and they can interrupt each other as often as they please. But I'd like to start
like right now.
Yeah. I'd like to start with introducing our moderator, Scott Catterlick. Scott Catterlick has been the chair of Apple Valley Chamber here before. He's the only person that's been asked twice to come back on our board, so he's really good. He's a CPA and also a comedian. That's an oxymoron. It's really interesting that he's the only person I know that can get the IRS to laugh. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but he can get them to laugh. He's the managing partner of a very large CPA law firm in Eden Prairie. You may see him on TV often. Around tax time, all the TV channels have him every year as the featured comedian for taxes. He's performed many times over and over again with Louis Anderson, Scott Hansen. I personally seen him several times at Mall of America. He's performed Acme Comedy Club, Rick Bronson's Comedy Club, Minnehaha Comedy. And now it's 8 a.m. and there's no alcohol right now that we know of, so no pressure there. But Scott, I'm going to turn it over to you, and let's have some fun this morning. Thank you, all of you, for participating.
Well, that's our time. Thanks, everybody, for coming. And thanks, Ed. Thanks so much. And hi, taxpayers. How you doing this morning? I've got a great group of comedians here with me this morning, and I have to tell you, I'll introduce them real quickly, and I want each one of you to spend just a minute telling us a little bit about yourselves. But Michael Thorne was actually my first MC gig, my first paid gig in comedy. I got to open for Michael Thorne at the Buffalo Tap in Savage, and I went on a little bit on the introduction also, and I could hear Michael in the back going, "Okay, come on, let's move it along." And so nothing's changed in his world. Both Karen Pickering and Pete Borchers are great comedians, both local. Karen and Michael are Apple Valley residents. Pete's a Shakopee kid. But I've competed in comedy contests with Karen and Pete. They both have won those comedy contests. I finished somewhere between the drink server and the person who has to clean up after they're done. So I've got a great group of people here this morning. And so, Michael, why don't you just tell us real quickly about yourself and we'll move forward.
Well, first, I'd like to thank you guys for inviting me and direct you to this beautiful lighted tree brought to you by Dakota Electric. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Yes, I'm not above pandering. That's right. That's what my career has come to. Pandering in my living room. I've been doing stand-up for about 30 years, up until about 8-9 months ago. As you see, things might have been ground to a little bit of a halt. So I am I'm the funniest damn Uber driver out there. That's what I am.
That's right.
And I'm up way too early. I should be out driving right now, trying to find people who are going to not their jobs, to other people's living rooms to view other Zoom parties going on in other areas where people might be having more fun. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'll get to the funny at some point.
Good. Karen, how about you?
Thanks so much, Scott, for having us here. This will be fun. I'm up 24/7 anyway, so 8 o'clock is great. So when I came back into comedy, I got to work with Michael. He gave me some of my first paid gigs back, and that's awesome. And I did comedy in the late 80s or actually early 80s, and I'm wicked old. So, and I got young kids, and I'm married to a guy 10 years younger than me. Do it, gals. It's great. And what I would say is some of you look familiar to me because I work at Schuler Shoes in Burnsville as a sales lead. Yeah, I'm plugging, and it's a great job, a lot of fun. And I've also been a lunch lady for 10 years in School District 196. But my kids asked me to go back to comedy because they're nerds, and I'm an annoying mother at night. I want to hang out with you. So that's how that started. Thanks to Dakota Electric and all of you guys.
Pete?
And I'm done.
There you go.
Done.
Thank you. Done.
Well done. Well done. Yes. So I'm Pete Borchers. I've been doing comedy for over 10 years now. And again, it's kind of a part-time gig. Kind of sometimes it's not a gig at all right now, like Michael says, because I've done one show in the last 8 months, which is terrible. But this has been fun. But yeah, it's a fun opportunity to try out some new things and meet some new people and get away with things that you can't get away with at your jobs, like you guys have. I used to have a job. I now work for myself. So this whole working at home thing I've been doing it for years now, and it's hell. But no, it's good. You get used to it. So the Zoom thing is great, and I'm just happy to be here and hopefully help you guys laugh a little bit today.
That's fantastic. And we're going to kind of run this as sort of a talk show. I want you guys to kind of chime in with some great answers. But first question is and it keeps coming up, is comedy dead?
Yeah.
Where are we at
No.
with comedy? That's fine.
Absolutely not. I
No.
saw the question that came up in the email. It said, "Is comedy dead? Is there anything we can laugh at?" And I certainly hope so. It has gotten more and more difficult in my 30 years of doing stand-up. It feels like George Carlin and Richard Pryor and Lenny Bruce, the people that went to jail for our rights to say the things that we get to say, are rolling over in their graves right now with how much comedy is being picked apart. And you're like, oh, you can't say that. I'm offended. When you're at your corporate job, I understand that. But when we're in a stand-up environment, people are a little bit too sensitive about a laugh. If you go, ha, 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 oh, that doesn't cut it. The laugh was the first response. Go with that, have a little fun, and let other people enjoy themselves. There are things that have offended me. George Carlin said some things that I went, that was irresponsible. But I would still defend his right to say it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I was like, 2020 has been a tough year for everybody, right? With that pandemic, and we got politics and all this. But like, when you look at the grand scope of things, we're not in a world war. I mean, who are some of the funniest people ever? It's Jewish people who went through the worst times ever, right? The Holocaust and all that, and they came through with humor. So you can always come through tough times with humor. So comedy is not dead. it'll change, it'll evolve, but it'll always be here.
You know, and
And I
they
think-
say that laughter is the best medicine. No, medicine is the best medicine. Laughter comes in a close second. And so don't forget that, people. We still need doctors. We still need people to take care of us. So, you know, they're not
away the
spreading
cancer.
jokes around with the COVID. The COVID isn't going to get solved by joke telling. It's going to get solved by vaccine, folks. So, Karen, you.
I was just going to say, I mean, comedy is such a survival skill, you know, and as Pete was saying, and I have found the team members that I work with, when I go into like Target or someplace, people are using humor to just crack up. You know, if somebody shows up without a mask at Target, the one-liners that those people at the door use are just priceless. I actually took a note, and this guy goes, "What are you doing? Are you writing me up?" And I said, "No, that was very funny what you said to that guy. He not only put a mask on, he tipped you $5 for being nice to him." I mean, it's just so great, and it's wonderful to see that survival
Karen,
mechanism.
are you
And I
saying
think
that
if we,
Are you
Pardon
saying
me?
there's stage time at the door at Target right now?
yes, you can do it, Michael. Seriously. Also, don't forget, guys, we should talk about virtual comedy shows that are online that are coming up, because I think all of us have heard about them. I'm in one, I'm shamelessly promoting a show that's going to be nationwide on Saturday night. I'll shut up. But Michael, we need you. We need Pete. Scott, we even need you. We really do.
God, wow.
We really do.
Someone's gotta work the door. Yes, absolutely.
We need someone to handle the money coming in. I digress, but I imagine in biblical times, can you imagine crossing the desert with their footwear that they had back then? They're gonna do 200-300 miles. Come on, Sarah, Abraham, somebody had to crack a joke, right?
How do you do
I
40
went too
years?
far. I
40
went too
years in
far
the
with
desert
that,
without
I
a map. Where's the next gas station? Yeah.
right?
There's no such thing as too far. And right now, live comedy might be dead. But as Karen mentioned, there's a lot of cyber comedy. A lot of the things that you're seeing right here, things that this is the only one that I've agreed to do so far. People go, "Hey, come on, do my Zoom show, do my Zoom show." I'm like, no, there's no audience response. I'm at my house. This is my sanctuary. I'm not bombing in my own living room.
Right. Yeah.
I'm actually doing a live show for an accounting firm in Ottawa, Canada tomorrow afternoon. So this is sort of a warm up for what's coming down the road. So.
Yeah.
But I'm getting paid. And that's, hey, at the end of the day, as a comedian,
Yeah,
you get
very
paid.
good.
This is the greatest gig in the world.
You're getting
They
paid.
need you up there.
Yeah. Can you believe it? They haven't seen my 6 minutes of material.
They can't cross the border to find you, Scott. It's
Yeah.
illegal. So
Yeah.
you got to go to them like that.
So what can't we say in a corporate environment?
Well, we can't say it because we're here.
Well, we
Well,
can't swear. I understand that, but where do you got to draw the line?
It's when HR shows up at your cubicle.
Yeah.
That's always where I pushed it. There were 2 different corporate jobs that I did in the early 2000s when I was trying to qualify for a house, because when you got comedian listed on your tax forms, they aren't lining up to give you a loan. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I would always push it to the point of getting talked to, and I got talked to a lot of times in my job with AT&T Wireless and my job with ADP. But they always said at the end of that I was really good for morale. As much as I might push the envelope, people around me were productive because they were having fun. There are so many rules that kept you so cloistered and your shoulders so close to your ears because you were so locked up in that rigid environment. And I mean, there are things, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced the fish philosophy, that video that they bring in for corporate team building. It was all about having fun. And they actually had that seminar, and then they gave us these little stuffed fish and encouraged tossing them around, and then reprimanded us for doing so. I was like, which way do you want it? Because
Did you get a warning? Did you get a warning before they cut you loose after that, or?
They never did cut me loose, actually.
Okay,
I was being silly about that. They always said at the end of those, a lot of people might have been fired for this, but again, you're good for morale. So we're gonna keep you around, fun monkey. Get back to your cube. Go back to your food bowl.
So, well, I'll say I've been lucky. I've worked in advertising for when I was in a career and stuff, working for companies, and so those are more of a loosey-goosey atmosphere, creative atmosphere, anyways. But
Yeah, that demands comedy.
yeah, well, it does. But I found if you are just a genuinely nice person, a nice and caring person, you can get away with almost anything if it's coming from a good place, right? Like I could go up to the president of the company and say something horrible to him because it was a juxtaposition from who I actually was. And as long as it doesn't hit too close to what the, a truth that's going to hurt them, you can say, you can get away with a lot. So you just got to be comfortable with who you're talking to, who you are. And again, just be a nice, good person and you can get away with a lot more comedy wise.
Yeah, that's a dangerous, fun, and scary line to walk. Knowing when to stop.
It is, but like I said, you haven't gotten in too much trouble for it. Occasionally you'll get a talking to, but
Right.
if you're coming from someplace genuine, they'll realize it was a mistake, and then you'll dial it back, and it's all fine. So.
Yep.
I've come pretty close to getting fired, but not in the last 10 years. I almost got fired as the lunch lady boss in District 196 because
For giving kids salt.
No, it was, well, I always kept telling people to wash their hands. I had no idea I was ahead of the times, But it was interesting because I had 27 lunch ladies and lunch lady men to manage, and I use humor a lot. And I use self-deprecating humor too. I have a size 10 foot. It's like a 4E, so I trip a lot and things, and I would do that. And women were sensitive about the size of their feet. Somebody thought I was going after them. I got reported to HR. The stuff that happened to me, it was unbelievable. But currently what I find, working in sales is the customers want to tell you things. And I find the best way for me to keep my mouth shut and my job is I'm a better listener. I can be nice. I'm a nice Karen, really. I'm not the mean one. I don't have the wedge haircut. It's all one length. But I want to know what's going on with you. One, it keeps my mouth shut, but two, then I learn more about you. And then it shuts that voice off. All comics have that voice in our heads, and sometimes it's not a nice voice when we all know what that is. And I think what's funny now about, because of the pandemic and the political scene, I think a lot of normal people are hearing a voice in their head and they're getting into trouble for saying crap. And it really warms my heart. I love it. Oh, you're a normal person. You just dropped an F-bomb. I'm so excited. Things I won't do, because I had a corporate last week with another comic who's a lawyer, Brian McDaniel, and it was so much fun. It was for Dakota County Bar, and it was so much fun. But I have started dropping an occasional F-bomb. So I had Post-it notes all over the place that said, do not swear, do not swear, do not swear. And then my daughter had taken them all down and wrote the F-bomb all over the place, which was hysterical. And that's the other thing too, because we have oh my gosh, our daughter moved home after graduating from college, and she got a job where she's working from home. She's making more than both parents combined. So I'm enjoying that. I just make a cook dinner. Enough of me, back to the point. But see, if I go off on these tangents, I don't get fired at work. Somebody just says, would you shut up? And that's a lot more loving than HR's gone the way,
You're absolutely right, Karen. It is more about listening. It's understanding what your client customer wants and listening to them without telling them what they need. And we can all benefit from that knowledge. That's definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, good. So what's the funniest experience you had at work?
Oh, any one of us?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think every one of you.
You guys want to go? Because this is a recent experience you'll love.
Okay, well, I'll give you.
Please, Pete.
So this I didn't do this. This is actually my company did this to me, or my coworkers did this to me. I have a notoriously messy workspace, and you can probably see that here. See, like my desk's a disaster. It always has been.
It's been over for a month. So.
Shocker. So I went on vacation for a week, and when I came back, my desk, which was a complete disaster, mess, everything, was moved from my normal spot into the bathroom. and they had taken a picture, and everything was in the exact same place it was. Like every piece of paper and pencil and junk, the whole garbage pile was in the exact same spot, just moved into the bathroom. So I thought that was pretty good. They must have spent 2 hours moving that desk and getting it perfect. But that was a fun thing. And I stayed there for 3 days until they made me move.
You put it here. I'm working here.
That's right. I totally did. I even got a couple.
I've had a number of. Did you?
Oh my God.
Did you put on a tip jar?
I put a tip jar. I put some soap in a tip jar out on the edge of my desk.
Start handing out towels. Here you go.
I did.
Would you like a mint? You could use some aftershave.
It was fun.
I've had
Oh my
some
gosh.
several goofy things happen in different jobs over the years. With coming in with all of your things in your cubicle wrapped in tin foil, or that funny smell. We at ADP we used to sabotage each other's cubes. We would tape a breakfast bagel underneath your desk and see how long it took you to smell it, or a banana peel or something like that. And so it was the ongoing, slowly unfolding joke. You'd hear them over there going, "What is that smell?" And you just giggle to yourself until they eventually found it. Since I started doing Uber and Lyft 5 years ago, I had one night where I had 4 guys in the car that I was driving at Cowboy Jack's downtown, and we were stuck in horrible traffic. And of course, I started spouting at the people that are, on the road and cracking these guys up. And they figured out I was a comedian, and they said, "Hey, this is way more fun than anything we're going to do at the club. How about we each give this guy $20 and just have him drive us around for the whole night?" And I said, "That's very nice, guys, but that's not enough. I'm going to make more if I keep driving." Scott alluded to a situation that I had about 3 years ago now, where I picked up a couple of guys at the Motel 6 in Bloomington, which is Richfield, which is no longer there, probably for a very good reason. They both reeked like weed when they got in the car, but I was like, nah, that's their own business. As long as they don't light it up in my car, I'm fine. They gave me an address. I drove to it. It was the Bremer Bank in Eagan. One of them got out and went in. The other one stayed in the car with me. We're just shooting the breeze. I'm telling them fun things to do while they're in town. It's taking a very long time. And eventually, the other person comes back out and gets in the car. I put it in gear, at which point 4 cop cars descend on us from all angles in that. Yeah. "Hands or we can see them." I'm like, "Yeah, I saw you coming." They said, "Are you an Uber driver?" I said, "Uber and Lyft." This is a Lyft, right? He goes, "You're just going to have to bear with us." I'm like, "What are my options?"
Wow.
Now, this is a sensitive subject, and this is also, scary as hell, because, this is right around the time of Philando Castile, and I've got all these cops descending on my car. The 2 African-American gentlemen in my backseat. I've seen this video. It doesn't end well. Like, please don't shoot anybody in my car. I mean, I guess my WeatherTech mats are built to hold some, but I don't know if anybody can handle the complete exsanguination in my car. I mean, that was something else. They were trying to pull some scams. They had stolen credit cards and account numbers, and they got one out and cuffed and stuffed, and the other one they're asking him questions. And I, at that point, reached over and started my recorder and posted it on Facebook, which ended up getting me on Channel 11, interviewing me about. I've gotten more notoriety from stuff that's happened in my car doing Uber and Lyft than I have from stand-up. Now, what does that say about my career? He's a great, the driver made a great witness, led us right back to their hotel room where we found all their skimmers. Oh, yeah. Why don't you put my name out there and tell them where they can find me, too? That'd be great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. It was something else. I've had other weird things happen, but that was probably the topper.
Yeah. Karen, you must have something.
Oh, well, actually, in the last month at work, I had a request from a customer that was the craziest thing I have ever been asked to do. And it was, I was helping this man find a sneaker, and he had his 4-year-old son who spoke incredibly well and was very intelligent. And it became apparent to me that this little boy, who said he was 4, and he was the youngest of this man's 5 kids, and he was relieved to be out with only one child, and I just let him talk. And he was in the store for 45 minutes, and all of a sudden, the little boy said, looked at me and he just kind of smiled, and I thought, I've seen that look. That look means I'm going to poop my pants right in front of you. And parents know this look, no matter where we are, we know this look. And that's what that very loquacious little boy did right in front of me and his dad. And then his father said to me, he said, hey, do you have kids? And I go, oh yeah, 22 and 23. And he said, would you mind changing this kid's diaper? And I said, sir, I think he could change it himself. And I said, I don't mean to be offensive, but I said, it might be time for some, the video. And I told him about Duke University has a video called You Are a Super Duper Pooper. And I sang the super duper Duke University song, You Are a Super Duper Pooper. This child walked to the cash register and said, Dad, I'm ready to go. But the smell was so bad. And I had to handle it with my nice mom voice. Sir, I think that he could change his own diaper, and let me sing you the super duper pooper song. Because my regular voice that you're hearing now is like, is she gonna scream and yell at me, you know? But that, I shared it at the Stales meeting that we had last weekend, because somebody asked the same question. Hey, what's going on with the customers? And I said, let me talk to you about the child I worked with last night.
Let me tell you, sir,
Oh my
he
God.
drove here. He could probably use to learn how to
I learned from it.
Why was he asking you to do it though? What was it?
I don't know what household he comes from. He spoke a different language, and I couldn't, you know, you don't want to ask somebody, are you from Russia? Where are you from? Because, you know, I don't know. I don't want to offend anybody.
Who? What?
So,
the child. He goes pooping.
and well, but I just remember as a mom, if I brought the poopy child home and I hadn't changed the diaper and handed the poopy child to the mother of the father, that I was in the doghouse. So I kind of was thinking, well, maybe he wants this done before mother, you know, I don't know. I didn't ask questions. He bought it. He bought some stuff. He was happy.
No.
Yeah.
So I waited for HR.
You're gonna go, yeah, sir. You want me to change his diaper? Let me show you a few more things that you're gonna buy today.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Let me show you something in a Jimmy Choo.
This New Balance shoe is perfect.
Yeah, right.
Let me
Who
get him
doesn't
in
sell
a
Jimmy
Keen hiker.
Holds 14 ounces of poo.
Now
this
people
is
say,
so funny.
go ahead.
The fact that the hierarchy is what it is in comedy. There is a continuum. There is a building, and all of us amongst ourselves took it upon ourselves to do it in exactly the right order. So it ended with the headliner, the poo joke.
Yeah.
I don't want to follow that.
Right.
You know, people's biggest fear is standing up in front of a crowd and speaking, and even they're more afraid of that than dying, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
You know,
I heard that.
you guys get up and do it every chance you get. Tell me why.
So,
Go ahead, Pete.
as far as people getting up and being afraid of getting in front of a crowd, here's the deal. All right. Nobody thinks anything of you right now. They already think you're a loser. So getting up in front of people is not going to change. It can only make it better, right? No one will lower their opinion because you suck.
Yeah, open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I just feel like you got nothing to lose. Like you really, and especially in front of strangers. Like, why should I care what their opinion is of me? I'm going to do the best I can. I'll make them laugh. I'm confident I can do that. But if I don't, I'm never going to see them again. So why would I worry about that? That's kind of my philosophy. So
I wish that I was that calm about things, honestly. I really wish that I could. I mean, I have to talk myself into that frame of mind. But in general, that's not where my mind goes. It took me, I think, 4 years after I realized I was going to get on the stage and do stand-up for me to actually develop the stones to do it, because I've got horrible anxiety. And I couldn't fathom the idea. I mean, I had gotten up and sung. I was in music in high school, and I thought I was going to be a musician until I realized I was funny, and then realized there's a lot less stuff to carry and a lot less people to pay. So I decided to do that instead. But my friends kept telling me, you got to do something with that. You're funny, blah, 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 blah. I would realize that I was at a party cutting up, just riffing, and I'd stop talking and then realize everybody was staring at me. I was like, okay, I guess I really do have to do something with this. But I had to learn like a 5-minute set so that I could do it without thinking about it. You know how I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
get
yeah.
up there and do it. You do it with muscle memory, because if the scared monkey becomes aware of what I'm doing, I'm going to forget everything I'm saying and go, I gotta go. You know? So I've heard people talk about that, the fear of that. I still have that. I still get really keyed up before, you know, we call it pre-show. I used to say to my ex-wife, you know, after 23 years of being with me, I don't know why you don't understand this. I'm going to be a giant a-hole for the, you know, for the 2 hours before my show. You're coming at me with things and asking me tough questions, and I'm like, I can't deal with this right now. It's because I'm trying to get psyched up for that show. It's like, I will apologize for it later. I realize I'm being a jerk, but I can't get past that at this point. It's involuntary. It's that scared little monkey inside that goes, I don't wanna.
Oh, you guys, this is good stuff. When I got into comedy by accident the first time. I was in college radio, and somebody signed me up to do some comedy on the radio, and we did a 4-hour show. We thought we were Saturday Night Live, but it was college radio. And my job was I would go from sketch to sketch to check in with people to see how they were doing, and I would just crack one-liners to break the ice. And so that's kind of how that started. And then I got a real radio job, and at an open mic, I was supposed to spin records and, you know, do the disco thing afterwards. And that was my job. And I got there early for the open mic, and I found out that my coworkers had signed me up because they thought it was funny. I had no act, and I was terrified, you know. So that's how that started. And then I got the bug. But I had always been somebody that wrote notes on a piece of paper. And it started with my parents as a kid, because my parents were 17 and 18 when they got married. And of course, I was the reason for the birth. And I would always write things down on a piece of paper that I wanted to say to them, because I would never say it because I would get my butt kicked. You know, that was back in the old days when parents would take a bar of Dial soap and, you know, lodge it in your tonsils. So, you know, that's kind of how it started, you know, but I was a total introvert. And even today, what Michael says, the pregame thing, I am not allowed to go near my family. In fact, my husband always says, have you worked out today? This would be a really good time before you go into that zone. He says, this is not even bipolar. This is worse. And he just says, go ahead, leave. And then when you come back, I'll have a chocolate bar for you to stabilize you. Go before the show. So and that's how we've stayed married, is he understands that. And then I understand. I'm married to a guy that does not talk until noon. And you're hearing this at 8:30. So I've learned to stay married. I'm not allowed to talk. I have to go outside and talk to myself with a cup of coffee. Enough of me. This has been too much fun, you guys.
I got to work with Louis Anderson one time with Pete and Scott Hansen up at Edinburgh Golf Course, and Pete and Scott were performing, so I got to sit with Louis, and he looks at me, he says, well, are you nervous? And I said, no. He said, well, you should be. Well, I am now. You know? Thanks a lot. I walked downstairs, couldn't remember my name. Like, that was great. Thanks a lot for the help. But there's a nervous energy that you got to have before you step on stage and get excited for what you're going to do. But, you know, when we talk about our fears, you know, all day long we sit in front of people and try to sell them on something that they don't understand or don't want or don't need. But that's our job. And that's really what comedians do. We bring people along in a story that we want them to follow us, just so that we can throw a curveball and hit them in the head. And so that's, you know, it really is that simple, I think. And so
it is.
Failure is a part of life. All right. This is just not for comedy. Failure is a part of life. And you just have to accept that. And you just got to, if you're afraid of failing, and that's, I think, what a lot of people are afraid of getting on stage, is because they're just afraid they're going to do poorly. Yeah, you're going to do poorly at times, but you're going to get better, right? And that's the same thing in your job, right? If you're afraid to ever go make that presentation or whatever, you're never going to get better at it. So you just got to get over that and just do it. Yes,
and eating it, as we call it in the business, eating it, having a big snack on stage when you're not doing well. If you're talking in front of people, whether it's for humor or whatever your presentation is, you have to be comfortable with eating it. I used to have younger guys go, hey, what's it take to be able to headline on the road? And well, you have to be able to eat it for an hour. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Don't you want to do well? I'm like, of course, you do want to do well, but your 20 minutes turns into 30 to 45 real easily when you're doing well. And there's all that laughter and you're thinking of stuff off the top of your head. But there are times when you're in Minot, North Dakota for 4 people who aren't digging your chili for whatever reason, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not like you got a new app you can bring out for them. So you got to plaster on a fake smile and pretend you're having fun for a solid hour to collect your measly $200 and drive 9 hours back home.
Yeah, you can't leave early. You got to fill that time. That is in the contract.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is wonderful. I'm glad I got, again, to get comedians up at 8 o'clock in the morning is a miracle. But it's great that you guys took the time. Michael Thorne, Karen Pickering, Pete Borchers, your emails are going to be showing up here. These are great comedians. If you have holiday parties, if you've got Christmas parties, anything related to your business would be great. Bar mitzvahs, they do it all. So whatever you guys got, feel free to get in touch with these three comedians and call me if you need any other references, because I can find you a better comedian. So.
Wait, what?
Than me. I'm talking about than me. Better comedian than me. Okay.
We still love you, Scott. We still love you.
Back to you, Ed.
If you didn't like these, I got a lot more to choose from. And that's true too. If you didn't like us, we do have other people that we can put you in touch with. It's not like our egos are in the way or anything.
Yeah.
Real quick. I wanted to. I meant to mention when you were talking about is there anything we can laugh at anymore? There's a documentary out there called "Can We Take a Joke?" Louis Anderson's in it as well as a bunch of other comedians. And there's another one about hecklers that I encourage people to watch because it gives you a lot of insight on how all of this works and being able to laugh at things that are, funny before they're offensive.
Fantastic.
Well,
Thanks, Michael.
well, thank you, Scott, for being MC, and thank you, Scott, Peter, Karen, Michael. This was great. What a great way for us to end our year with this series. And by the way, we haven't lost any participants. They've stayed right to the end. I was surprised at that more than anything.
They're asleep.
We didn't walk anybody. I'm not doing my job.
Here, throwing an F-bomb.
We even let you go an extra 10 minutes, and I'm seeing some chat here. Everybody's laughing on chat. So it was a big hit. Thank you very much. We'd like to thank Dakota Electric. And thank you for the jokes about Dakota Electric with the Christmas tree. I thought that was just brilliant there, Michael. But laughter really is the best medicine, or as Scott says, maybe it's a close second. We'll find out depending on how this vaccine works. If that doesn't work, we might have to go right back to laughter. And also starting next month, we're going to go to 2 times a month, but they're going to be a little bit longer, just like we went longer today because you guys were so funny. And next time we're going to make it a little bit more interactive. And instead of just real-time solutions, we're talking about real-time rebuilding and real-time repair of everything that we're doing since we're turning the corner now. Again, thank you to our sponsor, Dakota Electric. We'd like to thank Apple Valley Chamber of Commerce, that's us, and Burnsville Chamber of Commerce, Lakeville Chamber of Commerce, Hastings Chamber of Commerce, and also River Heights Chamber of Commerce. And River Heights just happens to be Inver Grove Heights and South St. Paul, in case all of you didn't realize that. Make sure everyone here enjoys the holidays, and may your entire holiday be full of love and especially full of laughter. Thank you, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy New Year.
Christmas.
Happy
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
Take care. Thank you again.